Lily grew up in a world of privilege, but it was not without its shadows. After her father's sudden passing, she found herself under the care of her stepmother, Victoria, a woman who viewed her with disdain. Victoria had married Lily's father not for love but for the social status and wealth he offered. With his death, Victoria's true colors emerged, and Lily became a target for her bitterness. The sprawling estate where they lived, once warm and filled with her father's laughter, became cold and oppressive under Victoria's rule. Despite the wealth surrounding her, Lily sought solace in simpler joys. She volunteered at local shelters, spending her time helping those less fortunate. It was her way of honoring her father's memory, a man who had always taught her the importance of compassion. But these acts of kindness only deepened Victoria's resentment. To her, Lily's philanthropy was a direct affront to the lifestyle of indulgence she cherished. The more Lily extended herself to others, the more Victoria plotted ways to humiliate and control her. Their relationship reached a breaking point during an argument over Lily's decision to donate a significant portion of her inheritance to a local community project. "This money isn't yours to squander," Victoria hissed, her voice sharp with anger. "It's my father's, and he'd want it to be used for good," Lily shot back. The confrontation left Victoria seething. That night, as she sat alone in her lavish sitting room, a malicious idea began to form in her mind. The idea came to Victoria during a shopping trip downtown. As she stepped out of her luxury car, she noticed a young man sitting on the sidewalk, his tattered clothes and scruffy appearance standing in stark contrast to the bustling, affluent crowd around him. His sign read, "Hungry and seeking work." Most people walked by without a glance, but Victoria saw an opportunity. This man, Nathan, could be the perfect tool to humiliate Lily and strip her of the pride she carried so stubbornly. Approaching him, Victoria's voice was deceptively sweet. "Young man, how would you like a chance to change your life?" she asked, offering him a hand up. Nathan looked at her with cautious eyes. "What do you mean?" he replied, his voice hoarse from weeks of hardship. Victoria explained her proposal, offering him money and a temporary place to stay in exchange for playing the role of Lily's fiancé. Nathan hesitated. The offer was tempting, but something about her tone unsettled him. "I'll do it," he said finally, "but only if she agrees." That evening, Victoria gathered Lily in the grand dining room. The table was set with their usual opulence, but there was a tension in the air. "I've found the perfect man for you to marry," Victoria announced with a saccharine smile. She slid a photo of Nathan across the table. Lily stared at it, her brow furrowed in confusion. "You can't be serious," she said, her voice rising. "You expect me to marry a man you picked up off the street?" Victoria leaned back in her chair, her expression cold and unyielding. "It's not a request, Lily. Either you marry him, or you'll lose everything, your inheritance, this home, your precious charities. It's time you learn where your kindness gets you." Lily's heart pounded, anger and disbelief coursing through her. But beneath the outrage, there was a flicker of resolve. She wouldn't let Victoria break her spirit. "Fine," she said quietly, meeting her stepmother's gaze. "If that's what it takes, I'll do it." Nathan was given a modest room in the guest house at Victoria's estate, a stark improvement from the park bench he had slept on the week before. Meeting Lily for the first time, he was struck by her grace and strength. She wasn't the spoiled heiress he had imagined. Instead, she greeted him with quiet dignity. "Why are you doing this?" she asked, her tone more curious than accusatory. Nathan hesitated before replying. "Because I needed the money," Nathan admitted, his voice laced with both honesty and shame. But I didn't expect you. His words hung in the air, sincere and raw. Lily studied him, searching for any hint of mockery but found none. Despite the bizarre circumstances, she saw glimpses of someone genuine beneath the layers of hardship he wore like armor. In the days that followed, they began to talk. Nathan shared pieces of his past. A former teacher, he had fallen on hard times after losing his job to budget cuts and his savings to a predatory scam. Lily listened, her empathy unwavering. She spoke of her late father, her love for charitable work, and her struggles living under Victoria's thumb. Slowly, a tentative understanding formed between them, though both knew they were caught in a scheme neither wanted. Word of the engagement spread quickly through the town's social circles, turning Lily into the subject of ridicule. "Did you hear? She's marrying a beggar," one guest sneered at a luncheon. "What a disgrace to her family's name." The gossip was relentless, yet Lily bore it with a calm resolve. Each whisper only strengthened her determination to see the ordeal through. Nathan, however, found the growing attention unbearable. He hated the idea of being part of Victoria's ploy to humiliate Lily. Watching her endure the mockery without complaint stirred something in him, a desire to protect her, to stand beside her not out of obligation but out of respect. As the wedding day drew closer, Nathan wrestled with his conscience, knowing he couldn't continue without addressing the truth. The grand ballroom was a scene of splendor on the day of the wedding. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead, and rows of finely dressed guests sat waiting, eager to witness the spectacle. Victoria, dressed in an elaborate gown, wore a look of smug satisfaction. Lily, in a simple yet elegant dress, walked down the aisle with her head held high, her dignity intact despite the stifling judgment surrounding her. When the officiant asked if there were any objections, Nathan raised his hand. The room fell silent, gasps rippling through the crowd. Stepping forward, Nathan addressed the assembly. "I can't go through with this," he began, his voice firm but calm. "Not without telling the truth about who I am and why I'm here." Nathan took a deep breath and shared his story. He explained how Victoria had approached him, offering money in exchange for his participation in her cruel game. "I agreed because I was desperate, but I've come to see that this is wrong. Lily deserves better than this sham." His gaze turned to Lily. "You've shown me what true kindness looks like, and I can't let you suffer because of me." The crowd listened, stunned into silence. But it was Nathan's next revelation that left them reeling. "I'm not just a beggar. I was once a teacher who dedicated his life to helping underprivileged children. Circumstances pushed me to the streets, but I've never stopped trying to rebuild my life." His voice cracked with emotion as he added, "And thanks to Lily, I've remembered what it means to hope." The guests turned their attention to Victoria, whose smug expression had morphed into panic. "You orchestrated this?" one woman exclaimed. "To humiliate your stepdaughter? How despicable!" The murmurs of disapproval grew louder, and the whispers of scandal began to take shape. Lily, emboldened by Nathan's courage, faced her stepmother. "You've tried to break me, but you've only revealed your own cruelty," she said, her voice steady. "This is the last time you'll control my life." With that, Lily walked out of the ballroom, Nathan following close behind. Victoria, left alone to face the scorn of the crowd, realized too late that her status and reputation were crumbling before her eyes. In the aftermath of the cancelled wedding, Lily and Nathan parted ways on amicable terms. Lily, true to her nature, used part of her inheritance to help Nathan get back on his feet. She funded a program to support struggling teachers, ensuring that others like Nathan would have the resources they needed to rebuild their lives. Nathan, in turn, found a renewed sense of purpose. He began teaching again, working with children who reminded him of the ones he had once dedicated his life to helping. Though their paths diverged, their bond remained, a testament to the power of integrity and kindness. Victoria's fall from grace was swift and unforgiving. Cut off from her social circles and shunned by those who once fawned over her, she was forced to confront the consequences of her actions. Stripped of her wealth and influence, she retreated to a quieter, humbler existence. As for Lily and Nathan, their friendship deepened over time. What began as an act of defiance blossomed into a partnership built on mutual respect and shared values. Together, they proved that even in the face of cruelty, goodness and resilience could triumph, leaving an indelible mark on everyone who witnessed their journey. As the days turned into weeks after the canceled wedding, Lily immersed herself in her charity work. The scandal, though briefly a source of gossip, had begun to fade, replaced by admiration for her resilience and conviction. People who had once whispered behind her back now saw her as a symbol of grace under pressure. Nathan, meanwhile, took his first steps toward rebuilding his life. With Lily's support, he secured a modest teaching position at a community center, where he worked with children from struggling families. The joy of seeing young minds light up with understanding reignited the passion he had thought he lost forever. Though Lily and Nathan lived separate lives, their connection remained strong. One afternoon, Nathan received a package in the mail. Inside was a handwritten note from Lily, along with a set of teaching materials and a small donation to his community center. The note read, "This is just the beginning. Keep inspiring them, Nathan." Nathan smiled, the gesture filling him with gratitude. He replied with a letter of his own, thanking Lily and updating her on his work. Slowly, their correspondence grew into a cherished routine, a quiet friendship that became a source of encouragement for them both. Victoria, in contrast, was a shadow of her former self. Without the wealth and connections she had relied on for so long, she struggled to adapt. Her former friends avoided her, unwilling to associate with someone whose reputation had been tarnished. Alone in a modest apartment far from the estate she had once ruled, Victoria spent her days reflecting on her life. For the first time, she was forced to confront the emptiness of her choices. Yet, amidst her solitude, she felt the stirrings of something unfamiliar, regret. Months later, during a fundraiser Lily was hosting for her community projects, Nathan decided to attend. He had been hesitant, unsure if his presence would be welcome after the scandal. But as he entered the venue, his doubts melted away when he saw Lily greeting attendees with her characteristic warmth. Their eyes met across the room, and Lily smiled, beckoning him over. "Nathan," she said, her voice filled with genuine happiness. "I'm so glad you came." For the rest of the evening, they worked side by side, reconnecting in a way that felt effortless, as though no time had passed. Meanwhile, Victoria found herself drawn to the community center Nathan had begun to transform. She had heard of his efforts through whispers in the town and, out of curiosity, or perhaps guilt, decided to visit. Watching him teach, she felt a pang of envy and admiration. Nathan noticed her lingering near the doorway and approached. "Victoria," he said cautiously, "what brings you here?" She hesitated before replying, "I wanted to see what you've built." For the first time, there was no malice in her tone, only vulnerability. Nathan, though wary, decided to let her stay. Victoria's visits to the community center became more frequent. She began volunteering in small ways, sorting supplies, helping set up classrooms, always avoiding Nathan's direct gaze. Finally, one evening, as the center emptied out, she gathered the courage to speak. "I owe you an apology," she said, her voice trembling. "For everything I did, to you and to Lily." Nathan listened, his expression unreadable. "Why now?" he asked. Victoria sighed. "Because I see now how wrong I was. I want to make things right, even if I don't deserve forgiveness." Nathan nodded slowly. "It's not about deserving," he said. "It's about change. If you're sincere, maybe there's hope." When Lily heard of Victoria's involvement at the community center, she was skeptical. "Do you think she's really changed?" she asked Nathan one evening as they discussed the matter. Nathan shrugged. "I think people can surprise us, but it's up to her to prove it." Lily couldn't deny the truth in his words, but the wounds Victoria had inflicted were still fresh. She decided to keep her distance, watching from afar to see if her stepmother's actions aligned with her words. Over time, Victoria's efforts began to speak for themselves. She became an integral part of the community center, organizing events and connecting with the families who benefited from its programs. Slowly, she earned the trust of those around her, including Nathan. Seeing this, Lily decided to meet her stepmother for the first time since the wedding. Their conversation was tentative, filled with long silences and careful words. But by the end, Lily found herself willing to take the first step toward reconciliation. The trio, Lily, Nathan, and Victoria, began working together on a new project, expanding the community center's reach. Their combined efforts brought in new donors and volunteers, transforming the small initiative into a citywide movement. Though their pasts still lingered, the work gave them a shared purpose, one that slowly began to heal old wounds. For Lily and Nathan, the partnership also deepened their bond, setting the stage for a future they hadn't yet dared to imagine. Years later, the community center stood as a beacon of hope in the city, a testament to the power of redemption and resilience. Nathan had become its director, while Lily continued her philanthropic endeavors, often alongside him. Victoria, though quieter in her role, found solace in the work she did. She had been given a second chance, one she was determined not to waste. Though her relationship with Lily remained complex, it was no longer defined by animosity but by mutual respect. Nathan often found himself reflecting on how far they had all come. The man who had once sat on a cold, unforgiving street corner now walked confidently through the bustling halls of the community center. Every wall and corner of the space bore testimony to dreams reclaimed and lives uplifted. He had Lily to thank for that spark of hope, and even Victoria, whose transformation had been unexpectedly genuine, played a role. Lily, too, often marveled at the twists her life had taken. The young woman who had been subjected to humiliation and control now stood as a leader in her own right. She had learned to forgive without forgetting, to hold her values tightly but leave space for others to change. And in Nathan, she saw someone who mirrored her beliefs in kindness and perseverance. Victoria's journey of redemption was not without setbacks. While her work at the community center had earned her a measure of respect, she still struggled to rebuild her personal relationships. For Lily, forgiveness was slow. But there were moments, shared laughter at a fundraiser, quiet teamwork during a project, where Victoria felt a glimmer of what a genuine bond could look like. One evening, Victoria confided in Nathan as they packed away supplies. "Do you think I can ever truly make up for what I did?" she asked softly. Nathan paused before replying. "You can't erase the past, Victoria. But you're showing through your actions that you're not the same person. That counts for something." The community center's success attracted citywide attention, and Lily was invited to speak at a prestigious gala honoring philanthropists. Nathan accompanied her, offering quiet support as she prepared to share their story. Victoria watched from the audience, her heart swelling with pride and a hint of envy. When Lily took the stage, she didn't focus on her own efforts but instead spoke of the people who had inspired her. She mentioned her father, the foundation of her values. She spoke of Nathan, whose courage and resilience reminded her of the power of second chances. And finally, she acknowledged Victoria, surprising everyone. "Even those who stumble can rise again," Lily said. "And my stepmother has proven that." After the gala, as they stood on the balcony overlooking the city lights, Nathan turned to Lily. "That was brave, what you said about Victoria," he remarked. Lily smiled faintly. "It's true. People can change, but it takes work. You showed me that first." The conversation shifted to their own journeys. For the first time, they spoke openly about their growing feelings. "You've been my anchor," Nathan admitted. "Not just through this, but in rediscovering who I am." Lily felt her heart stir, but instead of rushing into anything, they decided to let things unfold naturally. One morning, Lily found a letter waiting for her at the center. It was from Victoria. In it, her stepmother poured out her heart, apologizing for the years of pain she had caused and expressing gratitude for Lily's forgiveness. "You didn't have to give me another chance," the letter read, "but you did. I may never deserve it, but I'll spend the rest of my life trying to honor it." Lily clutched the letter tightly, tears streaming down her face. For the first time, she felt the weight of their shared history begin to lift. Over the next year, Lily and Nathan's bond deepened. No longer bound by the pretense of a forced engagement, they found joy in the small moments, late-night conversations, shared laughter at community events, and quiet walks through the city. Their relationship became a symbol of resilience and hope, celebrated by those who had witnessed their journey. At a small, intimate gathering with close friends and supporters of the center, Nathan finally asked Lily to be his partner in life, this time on his own terms. "I don't have much to give," he said, "but I promise you my heart and my unwavering support." Lily's answer was a tearful but certain yes. Victoria, though initially hesitant, played a quiet role in their union. She helped organize the event, ensuring it reflected the simple yet meaningful life Lily and Nathan had built. Her presence, though understated, was felt in every detail. At the ceremony, she gave a heartfelt toast. "I once tried to break what I didn't understand," she said. "But today, I celebrate it. To Nathan and Lily, may your love continue to inspire." With their marriage came new dreams. Lily and Nathan decided to expand the community center into a foundation, focusing on education and housing for underprivileged families. Victoria became one of their most active supporters, using her connections to secure funding and resources. The foundation's work touched countless lives, becoming a legacy for all three. Together, they proved that even the most fractured beginnings could lead to something beautiful. Years later, as they walked through the bustling halls of the expanded center, Lily, Nathan, and Victoria paused to admire a mural painted by the children they had helped. It depicted a tree, its roots strong and deep, its branches stretching toward the sky. "It's like us," Victoria said quietly. "Rooted in the past, but always growing." Lily smiled, taking her stepmother's hand. "And always reaching for the light." In their twilight years, Lily and Nathan sat together on the porch of their modest home, watching children play in the nearby park. The community they had nurtured thrived, a testament to their shared journey. Victoria, now frail but content, remained an integral part of their lives. She found peace in knowing she had played a role in something meaningful, something good. As the sun set, Nathan turned to Lily. Who would have thought, he said with a chuckle. A forced wedding led to all this. Lily laughed, her eyes filled with warmth. Sometimes, the worst beginnings can lead to the best endings. And in their hearts, they knew it was true.